All right, let's do it. Starting with Game of the Year. Okay. Good morning. Welcome to the Ryan Beardy live stream. Today is November 20th on a Saturday, and I'm excited for this stream. How are you, Bigby? I'm excited because not only are we doing the gaming news today, but we're going to be doing the Game Awards nominations. The nominations have already been announced, but I want to do my voting live. And I haven't even seen the majority of the nominations, but I just want to take the time to, comment and talk about it, give my opinions, because that's what you're all here for, right? What's up, Sabotage? How are you? As far as housekeeping for channel and stuff goes, I finished the script for Returnal on YouTube. I'm gonna be starting the video editing probably next week. Don't know how long it'll be, don't know when it'll be done, but it's something that I'm starting. I finished Metroid Dread, so that is streamed and over with. I haven't decided what game I want to do next. I might pull from... I haven't decided yet, because I wanted to do Alien Isolation. I've been considering that again and again. Not bad, been so busy that I forgot to add the news channel. Yeah, go ahead. I'm probably just gonna improvise for a little bit and see what I want to do. What other games? I started SMT5, so that's what I've been playing off stream. Have you started that yet, Big B, since you just got your delivery? I wanted to play the medium too. The thing is, SMT5, I'm playing on hard mode. It'll probably take me the rest of the year to finish, honestly. So I want to find something fun to stream. And I might just do the medium now that I look at it. Next week is Black Friday. I am going to a retro game shop, and I'm going to be spending a lot of money, I think. Depends what they have there. But I will, for sure, send pictures of the haul on Discord and talk about that. Maybe I'll find something there I want to stream too. Yeah, did the second absence. Oh, I see. I forgot what those things are called. Those are the giant, red flowers, aren't they? Yeah, I've been playing it on hard mode, and clearly, the game's a lot slower in that regard, because you gotta, do a lot more planning, which I like. But it's been going smoothly. I wish I had a little bit more time to play it. I am still taking care of my new puppy, and she's doing well. Not too much to talk about, other than she gets her last round of puppy shots next week. I tried to take her for a walk yesterday. We got maybe 5 houses down. She got scared and ran back, so that's something I'm working on. Good morning, Chuck. Welcome. I think that's it. Hollow Knight. Ooh, alright. No spoilies for myself. So I posted a couple things myself. I'm gonna specifically do the Game Awards part last, so I'm just gonna skip over that and then come back to it. But other than that, we're good to start. I gotta stall a little bit more so Big B can finish up. How are you guys doing? Trying to think of some other news. I don't have anything, so we can switch over. Because this is an easy one. This is... What link is this? For Nintendo's official post. So Nintendo officially added Twitch to the Nintendo Switch. And it took them 2017, almost 4 years to do it. Twitch is one of those... whenever you have pre-installed, streaming software, Twitch is, always MIA. You always have, Netflix, Hulu. Crunchyroll is sometimes there. There's another one, Disney Plus is another one. There's so many now. But Twitch is always MIA, and it's one... I've been streaming for a couple years now, but I never really watched a lot of Twitch. And... ever since last year, I guess because I've been home more, I've like found some people I like watching on Twitch, and I like watch it quite a bit more. Doing good, just playing more Hades. Ooh, I need to revisit that. There's always stuff to do in Hades. Yeah, but even on like smart TVs, on like, I guess just smart TVs, like Google. I don't know if Google Chrome has Twitch. Let me see. Google Chrome does have Twitch. Anyway, maybe I just get the feeling that Twitch is always MIA, and having it on the Switch, like having it on gaming consoles in general, you know, is that much better, makes it that much more accessible. So it took a really long time, but I am glad that Twitch is now on the Switch. I'm curious why it took so long. I mean, like, business things, of course, but like, it gets them, it puts Twitch in front of more people, and of course, like, they make their money with ads a lot of the time. Because there's a lot, I watched a video about how, like, they embed Twitch videos. You can embed a Twitch stream, like, in anywhere, and, like, Twitch streams are even embedded on the homepage. So, like, this stuff, so, like, this front page here, as soon as it loads, like, this is an embed of somebody's Twitch stream, and, like, sure, it's muted, but I believe that still counts as a view, and if they run ads and stuff, then, like, nobody's really in front of the ad, but they still get the money from the ads. Anyway, bit of a tangent, but, just getting Twitch in front of more people's faces seems like good for everybody. Next, I skimmed this. It was a new Hori controller. Hori makes really good stuff. The first time I got a Hori controller was Fight Stick, and let me see if I can, it was like a good, it was like that perfect middle ground between like how much it cost versus the quality. Because I actually got two of them eventually. This one. This is a really solid arcade stick, and $150 is a pretty in the middle price, because like fight sticks can get expensive really fast. I actually wonder if any, I mean, I don't even see any others for sale that don't, I guess, I don't know. I'm gonna say that don't look cheap, but I don't know what other brands to get for fight sticks, but Hori's been really good for me in the fight sticks. I've seen their Switch controllers. At the launch of the Switch, a lot of people were talking about how expensive the controllers can be. So I know Hori made a wired Pro controller, which I think was only 20 bucks. Yeah, $20 for a wired Pro controller, and this came out early when the Switch came out. So it was a really good alternative to spending, I think, like 80 bucks. Can I get an official one? This one. Oh, it's on sale now. Generally around $70. So 20 versus 70 is really good. Even if it doesn't have all of the, like, I know it doesn't have HD rumble built in. Of course it's wired. I don't think it has like the amiibo functionality, but Nintendo makes their controllers very specifically. Well, not very specifically, the opposite of that. They make their controllers with a lot of different odds and ends that really only first-party Nintendo games usually make the most of. So if you're on a budget, like the $20 Hori controller is a really good idea for a lot of people. Alright, let's go to the split pad, because that's what we're talking about today. It uses the split pad controller and makes it into a normal controller. I think I've seen somebody with not this exact thing. This looks really well made just by looking at it. Split pad's really good, so now you can use it when it's docked too. I need my split pad for playing handheld. Yeah, I think that's where I saw it. You own one, Chuck? Yeah, this looks really well made, and you just snap it together and it's a normal controller. Like, that's awesome. I don't... Is there a price for this? Do you have to import these, or do they sell them on, like, US Nintendo and Amazon stores? I have one too. The split pad's amazing already. Feels cheap, but it's light. It looks it. They at least do a good job with, like, the aesthetic on Amazon. Alright, let's check it out. So are they selling... This already exists, the two pieces. The middle piece is the new piece that they're selling. This is in an official Nintendo box. 40 Nintendo Switch pad. $50, that's good. You said you wanted the Monster Hunter. That looks slick. I like the, I don't know what you call it, the Japanese, like, painted style that Monster Hunter Rise's art has. It looks really nice. The middle is the new piece. And that just... Banger alert. So, does it have to be hardwired? Like, I'm seeing this end here. You can have headphones. I guess it keeps it charged. I don't know. Do you have a link in English by chance? We can try to translate. Yeah, we can translate. That works. About attachment for exclusive use of grip controller. I want to see... I'm just curious about the wire at the end. I see cable length approximately 3 meters. That means you can use it on PC, that's cool. That's just an extra use, because I'm assuming as is, just the two ends, you can't use it for that. So it seems to give more functionality with that. That's cool. I'll have to try to use yours, Chuck, to see if I can... to see if I like it. I don't know... I don't use the Switch in handheld mode enough, but it seems like a really good purchase for those who do. Bit pricey, actually. $45. Anyway, on sale. Okay, that's details. Little details. This version, yes, but I believe they're working on a wireless version. Okay. Yeah, that looks all good. Again, like, I like Hori with their past controllers that I've used. And with the fight sticks, so I think they do good stuff. It's a good alternate brand. Never used handheld mode before I got these. Now I use it 50-50. That's how I feel about upgrading to the OLED, is like... I don't have a good reason to do it, so I'm not going to rush to do it right away. But... if I used it would probably let me want to use handheld more if I had like a slightly... Because the thing that they talk about is the screen, but they even have better speakers, which I actually have to test out. Chuck's got one I can listen to, but... you know, incremental upgrades in the sort. Ooh, thank you. Upcoming Switch games? Let's have a look. Metroid Dread. Okay, this is out now. Metroid Dread. I loved it. I want to play Get It Together. Maybe... I'll have to check to see if any... I know what I'm saying out loud is I wonder if any of these Nintendo games are going to get a small price cut on Black Friday. But I wonder if WarioWare would. We talked about Skyward Sword. I didn't like the original enough to pay $60 for another one, but it's clearly the best way to play the game if you haven't already. And it's not a terrible game. It's... I've got a love-hate relationship with it. Mario Golf Super Rush I still haven't played. Diablo 2. Mario Party Superstars I haven't played. Disco Elysium, I'm waiting for my PS5 physical copy to come in. And I really want to play this game. And it seems like a really good game to put on the Switch. Both, it's not graphically straining, it's got a really nice art style. And it's this like slow-paced, immersive art like role-playing game. So I can't wait to try it myself. Nintendo already has Black Friday deals. Yeah, go ahead and link it. You can put it in the chat or in the Discord, it doesn't matter. Because I can pull that up now while I'm on the topic. Crisis Trilogy, Voice of Gods, I don't know what that is. Voice of Gods, The Isle Dragon Roars. Apparently it's out now. Ooh, card game. Oh, is this... This is the Yoko Taro game? It is. Ooh. I wanted a physical release of this. I had a friend come up to me and tell me very specifically, like, you should play this game, it's really good. So I want to try this. I just having a friend's recommendation enough is good enough for me. But I wonder if they'll ever do a physical for it. I think I got everything. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Animal Crossing, Hyrule Warriors expansion, Smash Bros, Guardians of the Galaxy Cloud version. There's another example of Square. Seems to be a lot of Square games that are getting the cloud versions, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure, man. I gotta look into that more. I talked a bit about it during the Kingdom Hearts announcement for all 3 cloud versions, but it just seems like it's better than nothing, but still, it seems like it's better than nothing, I guess. Especially when it's like really modern, demanding games. I just don't see... like, the Switch is a good younger person console, and it's a good companion console. So, as a companion console, like, you might as well just... by companion console, I mean, like, if you already own a PS5 and you bought a Switch, or you already have an Xbox One X and you have a Switch. So it's like, if you have that as a companion, why not just get it for the stronger console, or for PC if it's available on it? But if... so, like, if that's the case, just buy it for the more powerful thing. If it's for, like, a younger person, having a cloud version just seems like another barrier to, like, just pressing play and playing the game. But I've never personally did, like, a cloud version on Switch, so I don't know how reliable it is. Ooh boy. Okay, this is the Black Friday. That's good. You're giving me plenty to do. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for putting stuff in this Discord. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this gaming news. It's a really chill, like, playing games and talking is chill, but sometimes, like, there's nothing directly to talk about. So, like, having topics and talking through game announcements has been really fun for me. Mostly how good your internet is and if you connect in the first place. Yeah, like I said, in that case, it's just another barrier. So, like, a younger person playing it, it just seems like a harder thing to convince somebody, you know, I guess. SMT5 is out now. I think all of these are out. Danganronpa, I think, is December. I think GTA Trilogy is. I don't know about Big Brain. Pokemon is. So, SMT's out. I have very early impressions, but I'm really enjoying it. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl seem pretty straightforward. Pretty clear-cut remakes. Like, probably the best way to play them, but I'm waiting to hear if, I'm waiting to hear the nitty-gritty details to see if people like it. I want to find, like... I'm hoping some YouTubers I subscribe to will do an in-depth review of them. I've heard people go from cloud games play great to it's a waste of money and unplayable. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's just, you're by design making an inconsistent, like a inconsistent quality product by doing the cloud version. Like, I guess you could say like the tech's not there yet. The tech's there, is just not always accessible to people. It's not accessible yet, I guess, for cloud versions of gaming. I got Pearl. I'm actually really liking it. It feels like I'm playing the old school games with some much needed quality of life. That's good. I hope it's good. I had it pre-ordered. I decided to cancel it because I wanted to wait to see how people feel about it. So that's reassuring. I'm sure, like, you can convince me pretty easily that it's the best way to play the game, but I really want to know, like, nitty-gritty details about what's changed and how it affects the game. Because one example is Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. The XP share basically broke the game in terms of balance. It made you get so much more experience and trivialized the game. So I just want to know how small changes can affect, like, the bigger picture of the playthrough. And for that, like, I won't know that at launch. Can't compare to the DS games since I never played them. Well, Gen 4 and Gen 5 are pretty modern as far as, like, mechanics and stuff go. I feel like the only thing missing is the fairy type. But we have the physical special split in Gen 4. Again, just to summarize, like, I know it'll be the best way to play it. With the XP share, I was just below the first gym leader's levels by not fighting random encounters. Okay. Yeah, I just want to know with time. GTA Trilogy, if you don't already know, the quality of these remakes is terrible. I don't know the details, but I know that it's pretty overwhelmingly negative to how these were received, so... I don't know if it's any better on Switch, and I doubt it. Danganronpa, if you've ever played them, I've played the first 3 games in the series, and they're all really good. Visual novel, murder mystery. Very good at, like, subverting expectations. Having, I think it's all 3 games plus an expanded minigame for one of them in one package on the Switch. Again, this is another perfect Switch game. It's not too demanding visually, and it's a visual novel. You can take it portably now. So, I recommend Danganronpa. Never been challenged by a regular Pokemon anyway, so I don't care about XP share. I heard GTA was garbage all around, yeah. Yeah, my immediate concern with XP share is 2 things. It's giving the player the option to turn it off, which they don't give you. Because, I mean, just why not let the player customize their experience however they want? And the other thing I heard is that the trainers' levels in Pokemon are the same as they were in the original Diamond and Pearl, and not even how they were in Platinum. So, if you have a forced XP share, and the levels are the same as they are in the original, like, how is that going to affect the balance? Just things like that. Pokemon Legends Arceus, I'm interested in. I don't think I'm going to buy it. I want to see more details about it. Kind of the same with Diamond and Pearl. I just wanted to come out and see how people feel about it. It looks fun. Advance Wars 1 and 2 seems like a really cool idea. I've never played the originals, and I've heard good things. Triangle Strategy is really what they're going with as the final name, so there's that. I can't really comment on it. Splatoon 3, they always make a big deal out of in a good way. Like, it's an event when a new Splatoon game comes out. Because they did such a good job with the first one, and they did such a good job promoting the second one too, so I'm excited for Splatoon 3. I don't know what my mindset's going to be closer to when it releases, but, you know, I'm excited. The game looks good, the name could be better. Yeah, I remember the very first announcement, they said, like, title pending, or title tentative, and then the next trailer to come out, they just erased that, and they're like, yeah, we're going with Triangle Strategy, that's the name. Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I didn't play the first game. I like the idea. I'm glad it was successful enough to get a sequel. Bayonetta 3. I'm very excited for that. The first Bayonetta 1 and 2 are available on Switch, and those are both fantastic games. So definitely play them if you haven't already. I'm interested in the Kirby and the Forgotten Lands because it's the first like 3D Kirby game. I think that in itself is gonna sell me on it. It doesn't reassure me that it's gonna be good. The Kirby 3DS games I've heard amazing things about, and I really want to play them. The one that came out on Switch, I think, was not as great from what I heard. And them switching up the formula to a brand new style of gameplay doesn't have me super convinced it'll be good, but it has me interested that I want to try it, you know? I mean, curiosity, that's good enough for me, but I want to see more details about it for sure. Monster Hunter Rise DLC, I remember watching a trailer for that. Breath of the Wild, still no real details to. Dying Light, Stay Human Cloud version. I think I heard some negative things about... Is the first Dying Light available? I think Big B, you told me. I think you told me the first Dying Light on Switch was very poorly made. The port, anyway. If it wasn't you, I'm sorry, but somebody told me that. The Switch Kirby game was good, just short and easy. Yeah, and that's the cool thing about Kirby. I've played a lot of Kirby games in the past. Mainly Superstar Ultra comes to mind as a Kirby game that starts easy, and just the end game is really challenging no matter what kind of player you are. So I like that a lot of Kirby games can still be challenging. Even some earlier games have like challenge modes that you can opt into. The port was another miracle port. When it originally came out on PS4 and Xbox, those consoles had a hard time with the game. Okay, so I take that back. I must have been thinking of something else. Yeah, I'm excited for this general set of games. Seems like the Switch is still happy and healthy, you know? Yeah, okay. Let's look at the Black Friday deals while I'm on the topic. Best Buy's launched this Black Friday deals. Here's just some of the Switch ones. Oh, they're listed here too. Maybe? No. Yes, they are. This is already on sale. Interesting. Gonna skim through this. This probably isn't the best way to do it. Select video games for $14.99. Balan. Still too much for Balan Wonderworld. This game's pretty old now, isn't it? Standard edition? This is like 5 years old, at least. Can I get a release date? 2017. Yeah, pretty much. Kingdom Battle, Rayman Legends. I got Rayman Legends on a Black Friday a while ago. I played a little bit of it. It was good. Crash Bandicoot for... Apex Legends. I thought that was free to play. Final Fantasy. Do you have... So this is specifically Switch. I want to know if the first party... Let me just skim until I see first party stuff. I want to play Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. I hope they end up releasing like a complete physical version of it. They've been supporting it for a while now. Not really any Switch. I don't really see any. Nintendo Switch consoles, Nintendo Switch games? No. Why is it? Oh, I see. We're going to different stores now. PS5 has some good deals. Saw Deathloop for $40. Yeah. I'll probably... Well, I want to spend my money at the retro game shop. If there's something I really want that I see that's on sale, I might jump on it. But I haven't looked for any of these deals yet. Was that all for Black Friday? Because you linked some stuff. Black Friday, I clicked that. Black Friday deals. Oh boy. Thank you, Big B. Alright, I'm skipping the Game Awards for now. We can talk about Multiverse. Got Death Stranding for 40 brand new. Is that the Death Stranding for PS5, the director's cut? I'm just gonna pull up the Multiverse, see if they have a website. Game. Alright, well there's an IGN article, and then I'll pull this up. Director's cut for 40 bucks is good. Alright, so Warner Brothers has officially announced Multiverse, a Super Smash Bros.-like fighter developed by PlayFirst Games that brings together characters from shows like Scooby-Doo Adventure Time, Looney Tunes, and even Game of Thrones. It's said to release 2022 for consoles and PC and will be free to play. Will support 1v1, 2v2, 4-player free-for-alls. I have a that's the general idea of it. I like where they're going with this. With Multiverse, they're really stressing... They talk in this video specifically about a good online connection. They talk about how the focus is 2v2. And... what was the last thing? The fact that it's free to play and cross-platform. So they're already doing something... They're already marketing it differently than something like Super Smash Brothers and the recent Nick All-Stars Brawl. It reminds me more of a Brawlhalla type formula because, again, it's free to play. So you'll probably be unlocking characters as you play, or you can purchase the characters. I assume stages will be free because it's a platform fighter. If they're supporting competitive, which they talked about, then they'll probably have some sort of, pick band stage, because stages in platform fighters are sometimes just as important as, like, what character you play. So I like the direction they're going in. Again, having it 2v2s, it's slightly less serious in the sense that, like, when you're doing 1v1s, the pressure is on you specifically. If you do 2v2s, then there's a lot more, dynamic aspects when playing with another person. So what I liked about Nick All-Stars was their initial trailers, the gameplay trailers, explained how we're making this like things like Melee, Project M, and so on and so forth. Like Rivals of Aether, I guess. So they, really talked about the mechanics and the speed. Whereas this game's a little less advertised like that. Again, they still communicated how they wanted to make good internet connection and have tournaments and stuff like that. But I think Nick All-Stars Brawl communicates to me, it's more personalized to me. It communicates the things that I want. So I think long term I would rather play Nick All-Star Brawl, even though this game probably has a bigger budget. Well, not probably. I think the thing that really hindered Nick All-Star Brawls was they had a really small team. They didn't have a lot of, they didn't have a big budget, so they didn't have things like they had to do a lot of balancing immediately. So they may not have done a lot of playtesting. A lot of people complain about the lack of voice acting, which does suck. It is like a tier of polish that brings the game down for sure, but it's not something that is immediately necessary. So my question when it came to Nick All-Star Brawl was how long are they going to support this, and how are they going to support it if they do it long term? If they don't support it, it'll definitely be something that falls off, but it'll still have its cult following. I really like how simple Nick All-Star Brawl is, but how fast it is. So for me, it's like Melee, but you can pick it up in a day because it's really simple to play, but it's just as fast, and you have to execute the same kind of movements in order to have success. So when I played it, they still had some balancing and some infinites to cut out of the game, and I'm not done playing it. Like, I still want to play more Nick All-Stars Brawl. But specifically to this game, they're definitely advertising it to, like, a different set of people. It definitely is something that looks to me like they're going to support it for a while. They're going to add new characters, new skins, new stages. And because it's free to play, because it's cross-platform, because they talked about how they want to support online, it's clear to me that this is something that has some staying potential. Not really something that advertises to me as an individual, but something that I see value in. Again, Brawlhalla, like, you don't think about it, but Brawlhalla is the most played platform fighter. I think the most played fighter ever. But because it's not something that I personally play, it's not something that's in my spotlight, it's not something I think about. But this has the potential to be successful both financially and, like, have a large player base just because of how this trailer is shown. I'm down to try it. You know, it seems like a fun platform fighter, but we'll see. I'll love to talk about it more once it's out. I like this. I'm glad you put this in, Big B. Because I own this, but I haven't played it yet. The Shantae games, physically, were very, very, very expensive for Switch. And then last year... It was last year, the end of 2019, that they announced they were going to do reprints of a lot of stuff. And that was when they were doing their first prints of Shantae and the Seven Sirens. This is the most recent Shantae game. And I heard mixed things about it. So, knowing that they're doing this update, which I'll read through now, seems like they're going to put a band-aid on a game that wasn't as well received as the past Shantae games. So, Shantae and the Seven Sirens announces Spectacular Superstar Update. It's been on Switch for well over a year now, but WayForward has just announced a major Spectacular Superstar update for the game. Several new features will be added with the patch. Comes with a definitive mode, full deck mode, rule breaker mode, and beginner mode. We have some additional information about Spectacle Superstar update for Shantae and the Seven Sirens below. A more challenging director's cut that features classic Shantae difficulty with rebalanced item drops and magic consumption, as well as a more intense boss fights and new dialogue with the sirens before each battle. Full deck mode, definitive mode with a twist. Start with all 50 monster cards and customize Shantae's abilities to your liking. Definitive mode without limits, and beginner mode. The other thing that I recall about this game... let me finish. WayForward also says that Shantae's Seven Sirens update will let players select Legacy mode for those who want the experience of the game in its original unaltered form. I like that. Unlockable hula costume, which offers powerful magic. Okay, so it changes the gameplay a little bit. We'll mention that all modes will have enhancements such as improved dialogue and the addition of a map marker and game hints. We'll go live for November 30th at no extra cost. So I recall that the original release of Seven Sirens was mobile, and that each chapter was released individually for an individual cost. Let me correct myself before I continue. It's on Apple Arcade. So maybe they didn't charge for all of these parts, but I believe they were released like with individual updates, so the full game wasn't released at one time. So that to me was weird given the Shantae games of past. While I'm not experienced with these Shantae games, I've heard good things and I know like passing about them. So the fact that they're reworking the game and rebalancing the game into like a new director's cut mode gives me a lot more of a reason to want to play this, because I heard it wasn't as good as some of the older games, but I like that. Let's see, when did it release? I like that with time, like it came out 2019. I'm glad that with time they are still updating the game to be as good as it can be. So this seems like a huge update that you know, may even kickstart me to want to play the Shantae games. Because I own a lot of them now, but I haven't played a lot of them. Sonic the Hedgehog in Monster Hunter. Sonic's finding his way into a lot of games. He's the mobile king master. He's in every mobile game. Escape from the City, oh boy. They seem to do cool things with their visuals, or with skins, I guess, because I was watching the Akuma trailer, and they had unique animations for that. I wonder if they have any for Sonic here. I like these outfits, they look really good. The cat costume gives me Sonic movie vibes. Yeah, like that's unique. Supersonic. And the running and all that. So they do a lot of good work with their costume DLC. Do you have to pay for... Is there a page Monster Hunter Rise DLC? I want to see all the DLC for the game. All the event. Oh, so this Sonic stuff's free? Is the Akuma stuff free? So paid DLC. That's cool. So why is this stuff paid DLC? What am I looking at here? Just costumes? Paid DLC is cosmetic only. Interesting that the stuff they... I guess the stuff that gets sent to me through you, but the stuff that they advertise is all free. But they have... I would expect the crossover stuff to be paid is what I'm getting at. You know, make a quick buck and introduce like a crossover thing and charge money for it. I mean, these outfits look pretty. Like, I would love to kit my character out in like traditional and Japanese armors, but... I'm sure there's plenty of armor in the game that looks nice that you don't have to spend money on this. But if it's a crossover, then like, yeah, some people are gonna be incentivized to spend money. That's cool. What is this? Dead Cells. Hollow Knight is our latest guest. The knight is a bit too shy to show his face, however, he was still nice enough to let us use his weapon. I didn't know Dead Cells was still getting more content. That's cool. I want to own a copy of Dead Cells eventually, but they're still actively adding content, which is a good thing. I try to play games after the fact so that like when I play, because like there's so many games out there, my backlog is so big, but I try to get to games once they're done being supported so I, you know, don't have to revisit it, so that I can be efficient, you know. They're adding a bunch of crossovers to Dead Cells. Okay. They have references in a lot of other games like Dark Souls. That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I think I've gotten emails for this for a while. This is... I don't have much to say with this. I know that this is a beloved Star Wars game that's now physically available on Switch, but that's exciting. These games aren't much of a priority for me. I do eventually want to play them because they seem like very well received, like classics now. Because let me guess, like early 2000s, 2003. Time flies. I watched this trailer. This is interesting. Was it free to play before I do anything else? I don't think it was free to play, or else they would have said it. This is an asymmetrical Dragon Ball Z survival game. It looks wacky. It's cool. It's like I mean, asymmetrical games in the past, what is like Dead by Daylight is the most popular one. I like the idea, especially with the other player playing Cell and how he evolves over time. I think they did the coolest thing they could do making an asymmetrical Dragon Ball Z game. It's not something that's interesting to me. I'll see if I can skip the gameplay. It's not interesting to me, but it's a really cool idea, and I hope it's fun. Maybe I just want to see more, but it looks silly, it looks fun. The funny thing was I have already seen this trailer, and that's all I had to say about it then. It's a cool idea. Maybe I can look up who is developing it. Dimps? Is that who I have to look at? Or Bird Studio? I don't know. I like that they're finally doing something different instead of the usual, let's retell the anime. Yes, okay, yes. That's a good compliment. Asymmetrical game is where it's a multiplayer game where both sides are not equal. In this situation, there's one person playing Cell, and they are extremely overpowered against like 7 players trying to do other things. Dead by Daylight's another example because you have the killer. You have 1 killer and you have 4 survivors. And so, like, one side has to win. The first prominent example was Evolve, where, like, one person was a giant creature that was slowly getting stronger throughout the game against, I think, like, 4 other characters trying to hunt the monster down. So it's things like that. But yeah, Big B, I'm glad you said that. That's a really good take. Yeah, I haven't been interested in any Dragon Ball Z video games other than Dragon Ball FighterZ. I played the Budokai games in the past, and those were fun. I don't think I played anything that was like single player. There was the Xenoverse games, which don't do it for me, just like Arena Fighter, both single player and multiplayer. And then there was that recent Kakarot game, which, as you said, is just like retelling parts of the anime. So yeah, I think this is definitely a unique direction to take a Dragon Ball video game, and I like that. Take my cookies. Who sent this? Is this you too, Big B? Yes. Okay, what you got for me? PS5 owners prefer boxed games to downloads. PlayStation fans across Europe and beyond heavily favor retail for their game purchases, with more than 10 million boxed games sold in the console's first 10 months of sale. This is reassuring for me. The figure comes from the global sales data presentation of GI Live London. GSD tracks full game box sales from 23 countries and digital sales from 49. Retail sales $950 compared to $840. PS5's retail games have consistently outsold digital every month, and the gap has widened over time. This is interesting to me because I remember when the Xbox One and PS4 were being announced, Xbox One's selling point was that they were going to cut out... They were doing something where, like, they were trying to cut out physical. And I think if you wanted to do a used copy of a game, you had to, like... You couldn't... What was that famous Xbox... PlayStation's like, oh, you want to play a friend's game? This is how you do it. And it showed 2... people standing next to each other and giving him a game like, here, you can play it. And I think Xbox One was doing restrictions. I don't know if that's going to give me what I want. Xbox One will not require internet. This is an old article. 2013. Maybe this is what I want. This changes policies regarding Xbox One's internet requirements, use game restrictions, because they changed this because of the backlash. Xbox was trying to put a code or something that synced to the first console it was played on. Internet will only be required when initially setting up the console. After the one-time system setup, you can play any disc-based game without ever connecting online again. Yeah, they were like heavily requiring, or heavily limiting like how you play used games. It'll instead allow discs to be exchanged in the same way they are on 360. There will be no additional restrictions for trade-in, lending games to friends. I remember even before this, you had to pay. If there was a game that had a single player and an online functionality, there was a key specifically for that game's online functionality. So if you bought the game new, you would insert the disc, and then you would enter the key code to give yourself privilege to play that game online. So Battlefield did this. So if I bought a used copy of Battlefield, the code that was in the sleeve of the game was no longer good. And I had to go online and purchase like a $20 code to play Battlefield online. That's them like trying to nickel and dime players. And the only reason it's not like that today is because of the backlash. And Xbox tried to do something similar with used games. So yeah, that could have been our future if nobody pushed back. And then PlayStation 4 used. I want to find that trailer. This, we have to watch this. Yeah, this is it. This is it. This is it.
How you share your games on PS4.
This was PlayStation's response to Xbox limiting used games. This is a 21-second own for like Xbox at the time. When was this? 2013. That IGN article is 2013. This was in response to that. This is gold. I love it. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. So, because of those things that transpired, I'm really glad that people are still choosing to buy physical copies of their game. I understand why they want to transition to digital, because there's a lot more standing between sales of but there's a lot more in between profit buying physically than there is digitally. Because let's say PlayStation 5 removed physical games entirely. In order to play a PlayStation game, you have to buy a PlayStation, and then you have to go to the PlayStation store and download the game. You're downloading it directly from PlayStation, so they get pretty much all the profit. If you buy a physical copy of that game, you have to pay the people that actually make the physical copy. You have to give a cut to them. You have to give a cut to GameStop, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, and then PlayStation gets a cut. So I understand why, trying to maximize profit, they try to do awful things like that. Awful subjective, you know, because they want money, I want a physical game. But because of the pushback and because of this article, it makes me happy that physical games are still have value. I feel like the uncertainty of your digital content will still be available in the future makes people want to buy physical. Like, what if you have to keep paying for access to them or the company takes down servers? I don't think that occupies the casual gamer's mind, but I don't know. I can't speculate why this is still the case. Because in my mind, that what you just said doesn't occupy the casual person's mind, and having something digitally is way more convenient than going on your shelf and swapping out discs. So to me, like, what I think would be the opposite of this. So, like, I can only speculate why it would be the other way around. Maybe I'll continue to read and maybe it'll give me some insight, but... Because it says... After this, PS5's retail games have consistently outsold digital every month, and the gap has widened over time. In December 2020, 5 retail games were sold for every 4 downloads. By the end of August, this had increased to 3 box games for every 2 digital. In total, 10.14 million box games were sold for PS5. Meanwhile, 7.51 digital were sold. The highest performing months for digital sales were in December and January, but they fall short of the retail's lowest. Kind of skimming to see if they, like, offer a reason why. Offered 4 factors that may explain why PS5 owners prefer box games. Firstly, the high price tag for new PS5 total, around $70, means consumers prefer to invest in the physical item. This is combined with his second point, that console owners like to build a physical library of games. And I try to keep the perspective that hardcore gamers are a very, very small fraction of casual gamers. The same people that buy Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, FIFA, so on and so forth. Play the free-to-play Fortnite, Apex Legends, those kind of people. Those are the majority. That's why I think the things that I think. Naji also pointed the ability to sell and lend box games as a factor, before adding that download sales typically favor. And that's the thing too, I talked about how the profit gets split for new games between the production of the physical cart and the retail store. The retail stores make their money primarily on used games. If you go to GameStop, they push their plans because their plans give them profit, and they push used games because that gives them the majority of their profit. So that's their workaround, and that's why these stores exist in the way they do, with, you know, focusing on what they focus on. Alright, yeah, that was a good article. Thank you for linking that, Big B. Being able to sell physical games is a huge plus. Parents want to be able to sell their games to kids. Yeah, for sure. When I got Guilty Gear, they tried to push a used copy on me. Yeah, exactly. That's why they do it, is because that's how they make money primarily, is with used games. But they can't usually convince me to do it, because it's usually a difference of $5. If there was a bigger difference in price, then I would go used. But GameStop specifically, they don't have a big enough incentive to do it. I appreciate that article, because I did not know that. We talked about Black Friday. Did I click on this specifically? I did not. Because we talked about Switch Black Friday. We didn't do PlayStation. They had a sale, so Guilty Gear was 30 new or 54 used. And see, with how terribly... The stories about the higher up management, how poorly their management is, they make people say all these things and push all these things, and I hate that about it. Like, not much you can do about it, but it's just, that's where the incentive is, so that's, if you're gonna work for GameStop, that's what they're gonna make you push. I'm gonna skip. I want to see prices. This is all. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this because this is for my own personal interest. It's stuff I can look into on my own time and something that's temporary. Like Black Friday deals are just that. Yeah, exactly. Different margins. New Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin info and screenshots. Ooh, I love this art. Hello. That is beautiful. Who did that? Why did it put me back to the top? Hey Ryan, want to come to my family lunch instead of me. I'll pass. I will pass. Thank you for the offer. They tried to sell me used copies of Switch games that are 2 months old. Yeah. Yep. The story of Final Fantasy Origin focuses on Jack and his fight to return the crystals of Cornelia, a land overrun by darkness. Okay, let me skim some more. It's cool to see a modern take on the first Final Fantasy game, especially after I just recently played it. And after wink wink nudge nudge, I did a video on the first Final Fantasy game. So it's cool to see this stuff like with modern graphics. Provoca, ooh, and towns too. It was cool seeing I played the demo, both demos. The first area was the very first dungeon in Final Fantasy 1. So it's cool seeing towns now being depicted. Here's the ship that you get. Some of the characters. The next set of screenshots focuses on combat, the break gauge. Yep. Okay, sorry to skim this. Is there anything in particular you wanted me to look at other than the details? I've talked about this game in the past. I can talk about how I like the combat. The combat basically has enemies with like two different... The break gauge is a really cool mechanic for this game. It's basically a second health bar. Like, you can see... Do I have to really do this? Here we go. You can see that their health bar is the one in blue, and the break gauge is the one in yellow. When that bar fills up completely, you can one-shot them for like an insane bonus. So I like the dynamic of like managing these two health bars, and you kind of have the same thing. You have your own health, and then you have your own break gauge to manage. So I like the give and take and the equal footing that mechanic provides as like an extra layer of management to the combat. So I don't know if I'll buy this on release. Does it have a release date yet? But I am thankful that they did the demos so I could try it out. The game will release March 18th, so we still got time. So we'll see how I'm feeling around then. But I think it's cool. Not really my kind of game. I don't like the immediate action games, but I had fun with it. And we'll see. You shall see. IDK who did the key art, but it's a homage to Amano. Yeah, I want to find out who made that, because that's really good art. New Salt and Sacrifice video shows off Mage Hunt. So this is the sequel to Salt and Sanctuary, if I remember correctly. New dev diary features new gameplay. I didn't play Salt and Sanctuary. I've heard good things. Can we up the frame or up the quality? I respect the heck out of this game because visually and mechanically it looks, from what I've seen, really enjoyable and really fun. It's not something that I have a priority to want to play. If there's something in this space that I want to play, it's Blasphemous, because I really like the pixel art for Blasphemous. I think you'd like these games. Yeah. If I'm being honest, my bias is telling me I'm not a big fan of the art style, and it seems a little too close to Dark Souls rather than being its own inspired thing. Those two things alone are just my bias being like, hey, I don't want to prioritize playing this game. But again, I respect the heck out of it because I've heard good things about it. Maybe one day I will. But before that, I want to play Blasphemous. I like the pixel art for that game and the art style for it. Maybe instead of playing this game, I can watch somebody stream it or a friend play it. Maybe that's where I can enjoy it, you know? Because again, there's just a lot of things, a lot of stuff I gotta get to. I'm glad the first game was successful enough to get a sequel. Salt and Sacrifice is due out early 2022, exclusive to PlayStation and Epic Games Store. Yeah, I will keep one eye open to see how this is reviewed. I also just noticed co-op. Excuse me for skimming a little too much. This shows co-op? Let me... This video also shows off a new cooperative mode that allows you to team up with others online to battle the mages. In fact, the whole game can be played cooperatively. I wonder if it'll have couch co-op, because this says online. That's cool. I think that's a really good addition. But where was it? I guess because it's online, it's not going to show multiple health bars. But where... Here. This is co-op. That's a cool idea. I feel like you could do couch co-op by just duplicating this bar over here. And maybe making it a little smaller. I see the two players. It's hard to tell with this art style who were the players and who were the enemies. Unless it's something huge like that. Ooh, I didn't see this yet. We're getting to... I didn't see his gameplay. This is a character that a lot of people were expecting, for sure. A lot of characters... I didn't play the single player story mode, but a lot of characters that were heavily featured in it are just planned to be future DLC, like Gold Lewis, for example. Happy Chaos. I don't think there were any other characters with that much of a spotlight, not that I've seen. But I like the idea of this guy. Also, very funny that his character intro is him walking behind the opponent. I like characters like that are really like... My favorite fighting game characters are the ones that have fun doing what they're doing. And I might want to try him. Characters that have fun doing what they're doing, and then female characters that just have really big weapons. Those are my two fighting game genders. So he seems like a very fun character. Like literally, like he has fun doing what he's doing. I think fighting games have a lot of room to personalize their characters. And, you know, somebody like Happy Chaos literally like breaking the timer at the top here in the HUD. There's a lot of room for somebody like him to express himself in a fighting game like Guilty Gear. So I haven't played the game recently, but seeing this gameplay, like I'm happy for him. Happy Chaos, some might say. But that's cool. Not too much to say, just because I haven't been keeping up with Guilty Gear. I'll revisit it at some point. We clicked on that. And the last two things are glitches for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So let's go. Oh, I did see this. I haven't seen glitches prevalent enough online, so I'm hoping as a whole this game is a solid. I wonder if this could happen in the original, because the tiles are 1 for 1. As far as I know, they're 1 for 1. Yeah, that's a shame. Again, I wonder if this is in the original, because the gym leader's puzzles are 1 for 1. Oh, I see. It's because of the new movement. That's why you couldn't get That's why you probably couldn't get stuck. I don't know, that's a weird like curve up. I think this is a later gym too. The Snowfront City, maybe. Yeah, I haven't seen... Twitter hasn't been like outraged with Pokemon glitches, so hopefully in general things are good. But that's bad. And the game does have autosave, so... Again, I want to wait a while and see somebody's in-depth review of the remakes before I have an opinion. Cool. That's the first half of this. You know what the second half is. Game Awards time. I'm excited to do this live. Kind of talk about... I need to sign in, don't I? Sign in to vote. Sign in to vote and save progress. Do I sign in with Twitch? Is that what this is? Let me do it over here. Just in case it pulls up any... Ooh, over here? I'm gonna do it with Twitter. Can you... Alright, let's do it. Starting with Game of the Year. Okay. Deathloop, I respect the heck out of. Oh, hold on. Let's make sure we're all on the same page. There's some Zelda 35 stuff happening at the Game Awards. That's cool. Yeah, I haven't looked into any of the announcements yet. I know Jeff Keighley. I need to follow him if I don't already. Because he's the account... How do I spell Keighley? Maybe if I type in Game Awards. His name will probably be the first to come up. Oh, hold on. There it was. Yeah, I already follow Jeff. A lot of the updates get posted here, and I haven't personally looked at most of them. But that's the place to go. Deathloop, I respect the heck out of. I haven't... Alright, let me start this by saying I haven't played a lot of these games. Haven't played Deathloop, haven't played It Takes Two, haven't played Psychonauts 2, haven't played Ratchet & Clank, haven't played Resident Evil Village. A lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about is my perception of them, which I think still has some value because I say so. Because a lot of people vote with their feeling rather than having such an objective take as I seem to have when I talk about games. Like, I really put things under the microscope. And I think a lot of these are, like, not really popularity contests, but in a sense, they're, like, people already have their bias when it comes to voting, and that's fine. I think it's not fine, but something that's supposed to be as fun as the Game Awards, it's gonna happen. So I haven't played a lot of these games. Just assume that I haven't, unless I specifically say that I have. I haven't played Deathloop. I respect the heck out of it. It has a really cool core mechanic of... It has a really cool core mechanic of, like, mastering this one environment and replaying this one environment and getting better at it, and also the pseudo multiplayer stuff of having a rival character be put into your world. I've heard that the main critiques is that the game can feel kind of short. Like, once you master the game, there's not really much to do. But I think in argument against that, the multiplayer stuff of, like, invading somebody else's game is a really cool dynamic. It not only makes the game more dynamic, but it also strengthens the replay value of you. After you beat the game, you're the person that inhibits another person's progress. So respect the heck out of it. It seems like it seems that people wanted there to be a little bit more to it. I don't think that's necessarily valid. But But that's my thoughts on Deathloop. Again, really strong game of the year. It Takes Two is also something I've heard a lot of good things about. I honestly wish I played it myself this year. It's something that I do want to play and try to talk about. I've seen, I think it was Game Maker Toolkit had an interview with a developer from It Takes Two, and they talked about the level design in detail. Game Maker's Toolkit, It Takes Two. This. It Takes Two co-op level design.
Welcome back.
This was a really good video that I definitely recommend you check out. So like I've spent 30 minutes watching through this video talking about the multiple iterations that go into the level design, how they made it fun, and how they made it for co-op. Again, I think this is also a really good contender for Game of the Year. I'm glad that Deathloop and I'm glad that It Takes Two are games that are on at least nominated for. Again, I like the art style. I think everything about this game is super creative. Metroid Dread. This is the one game on this Game of the Year list that I have played. I think it's an extremely solid addition to the Metroid series. I'm really happy with it. There were very minor nitpicks that I had with the game. One of them being weird walls as soon as you get to new areas. It has really good level design that naturally loops the player into new progress. Collecting in the game was made really streamlined and really easy. Overall, I had a really great time playing this game. It's one of my contenders for Game of the Year. I don't know if there's anything else to say about it. I feel like I have less to say about something that I have played. Psychonauts 2. How long has it been? I played Psychonauts for the first time last year, in 2005 to 2021. It's been a long time. This is something that, like, is surprising that it's a thing, and it's surprising that it was as good as it was. Again, I've tried to stay away from this personally because I'm really invested in trying to play this. I'm glad it's a Game of the Year contender. I think it deserves to be. And I've heard it's just as good as everybody's been expecting it to be. That's about all I have to say. I'm glad it's here along with these. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, I think, is probably the weakest thing on this list. And the only reason I say that is because the Ratchet & Clank game that came out, the reboot that came out before this one, had the benefit of being a modern day reboot of Ratchet & Clank. And Rift Apart does the same thing, but makes better use of the current gen PS5 hardware. It adds a new character. I think it does everything it needs to be, everything it needs to do to be a sequel to the last Ratchet & Clank game. And it does it all very well. I think it inherently just becomes a weaker pick because it's just a sequel to a game that came out a couple years ago. Psychonauts 2, definitely Game of the Year. Again, I think all this stuff generally deserves to be on here. Resident Evil Village, I wish I played this year. I don't think I'm going to get to it this year. I'll probably play it next year. I haven't even heard a lot aside from... Aside from, like, just praise. I haven't heard anybody critique Resident Evil Village. I'm excited to play it myself for that reason. I don't have a whole lot to say other than I like the continuation of the direction they're going with from Resident Evil 7. It seems like more of 7, both in story and in gameplay, and I'm really excited to see what that means because 7 was already a unique, polished revisit of something like the older Resident Evil games. It was way more contained and survival horror than like 6 and 5. So there's room for it doing new things because it's first person. There's room for it doing familiar things because it does more of what the old games do. And specifically, 8 does more of what 7 does, but refines it a bit more. Main thing I heard about RE7 is survival horror with action in the back. RE8 is action horror with survival in the back. That's interesting. I'm glad that they piggyback off of each other, because I played Resident Evil 7, the Gold Edition. That was with all the DLC content. I played it all at once last year, I think. Last year or the end of the year 2019. And it's now one of my favorite horror games. RE7 was so good that I'm just kind of taking that expectation and placing it on 8 because I haven't heard anything bad. But that's about it. That's where I stand on all these games. My vote, of course, goes to Metroid Dread. It's the one that I played. I don't know if I have a reason why it's better than these other games. Mainly because I haven't played them. I'd put Metroid... It's tough. My vote is a biased one because 1, it's Metroid, and 2, it's the only one that I've played. But I have a hard time justifying it over these other games. Again, the only thing I have a clear not Game of the Year vote for is Ratchet & Clank. And that's of no fault of the game itself. It's just because it's a product, really, it's a sequel. It does what it's expected to do. And it does everything right in terms of optimizing itself for the current gen PS5, adding new characters, doing the same thing and refining it. But, I mean, it's all a circumstance. So I'm going with Metroid Dread. How do I move on? How do I go to the next one? Next category. Best game direction. Ooh. I won't repeat how I feel about these games. Again, I haven't played them. Returnal is the only game in this direction that I have actually played. I don't think it deserves the vote over something like Psychonauts 2. If I'm voting with my heart, I am absolutely voting with Returnal, and I might just do it because I'm biased. Psychonauts 2 probably deserves this vote. Deathloop probably deserves this vote, the tier below. I think, in order, Psychonauts 2 deserves the vote. Then these games deserve the vote. I'm just really hard on Ratchet & Clank. I'm sure it's a great game, but I want, like, something new and shiny in front of my face when I'm doing, like, Game Awards votes. Returnal, spoiler, is my game of the year. I'm kind of sad it's not in that last list, so I couldn't talk about it. I'm going to be doing a video critiquing this game, or reviewing this game, before the end of the year, so look forward to that. Who decide? Yeah, and again, like I've talked about this in general, it's more so a popularity contest is how these things tend to go. Ratchet & Clank was more of a PS5 tech demo. That's fair. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's all in circumstance. That's why I'm not voting for it. I have no ill will against it. It's just the circumstance of being in the voting. I want to vote. I want to vote Psychonauts 2 critically, but personally, I want to vote Returnal. And it pains me not to vote for Returnal, but it's hard to justify it because I haven't played Psychonauts 2. That's the conundrum I'm in. Psychonauts 2 deserves it. As much as I like Returnal. As much as it pains me. Best narrative. I've heard this is a good story, but it's a flawed story. I wish I had a take on this game, but I know nothing about it. I've heard it's a good story and it touches some really personal, emotional topics. So I'd love to vote for this. Why is this here? Let me be constructive when I say that, but like... Really? Okay. That's the opposite of how I feel. I wouldn't vote Guardians. Is the story of Guardians existing material from like a comic book. It just seems less centered around video games. I'm sure it's still good. I think it's new material. Okay. I don't know a single thing about Guardians of the Galaxy, less so that I can't even speculate about it. That's how I also feel about Life is Strange True Colors. What's up, Under the Sun? I didn't say hi the first time. My vote, I think, would have to go to Psychonauts 2. Can I go back and give Returnal another vote? Art direction. Oh, it's gotta be Psychonauts 2. That's no question. I've watched a 3-minute review about The Artful Escape. I really like it. I appreciate it as an indie game. I think it deserves recognition for even being here, which is awesome. I don't know it well enough. I know it's like a visual game with light platforming. So like that's the game's main draw is its art direction. I mean, it was that, or Psychonauts Deathloop is just looping. The story of It Takes Two is meh, and Life is Strange is only good for the first game. I appreciate The Artful Escape being a nominee. I don't think Deathloop should get it. Kenna is beautiful. It looks like a Pixar movie. It goes to Psychonauts 2. Best score in music. This is biased. I appreciate the composer for Nier Automata. I don't know anything about the soundtrack to these games, so this is just going to be a quick, like, one and done. I just appreciate this composer's work. I voted Nier for the music, yeah. I think it's got the most unique of the opposing votes. So while I don't have a lot to say, that's my vote. I don't know what Deathloop soundtrack is, or Marvel's. I've heard some Cyberpunk stuff. I don't know the Artful Escapes. I'm glad it's here again. I haven't played enough of these, but yeah, I prefaced this section of the stream saying that I haven't played any of these games. I've listened to the soundtrack to Replicant, and the soundtrack to Automata, I believe, is the same person, and it's one of my favorites, so count that for what it's worth. This is another thing I don't think I have enough info to comment on. Can I give Returnal something? Returnal has good audio design. I didn't talk a lot about it in my script, but it does have good audio design. I don't think it deserves the vote other than these games that I haven't played, but I'm going to vote for it just because that's where I'm at. Guardians apparently made a full motion picture soundtrack from scratch. Good for them. I'm surprised with the quality of that game. I'll have to talk more about it when I know more about it. Best performance. Life is Strange. I want to do that vote already. Deathloop, Resident Evil. I appreciate... So I've seen a little bit about Life is Strange True Colors. The game is gorgeous. The facial animations are gorgeous. Games need to take a note visually from Life is Strange True Colors. And I've seen good delivery with the little bit that I've seen of this game in its trailers and in some people streaming it. I voted on Maggie just because you still hear people talking about Demetrius. I am going to MagFest in January. I guess I'll see you there. Games for Impact. I don't know anything about Before Your Eyes. Don't know anything about Boyfriend Dungeon. I've heard it tackles some good... I've heard it tackles some interesting topics. I've heard good things about Chicory. Interesting that it's here. I'm actually really glad indie games are getting more of a spotlight. Because Hades was like a big Game of the Year contender. And it seems like they're doing more of that now. I think I would have... Again, I haven't played any of these. I want to vote for Life is Strange. Oh, hold on. Did it go through? Yeah, I can't wait to see you there. It's coming up soon. Best ongoing. I think best ongoing has to be either Apex or Final Fantasy. I'm gonna vote Final Fantasy just because I appreciate, from an outsider's perspective, how much they do with this game. Apex is very popular, and I think it's what's gonna win. I think it's gonna win over Fortnite. Because I don't know what it is. I just feel like the people who play Apex are very passionate about playing it. So I respect that. My vote's gonna go to Final Fantasy. I feel like Apex will win it over Fortnite. I think Fortnite won it in past years. Genshin Impact, I see that they are still supporting it, but like nothing's really grabbed my attention to where I've like looked at it past release. And I don't really care for best ongoing for game development and ongoing content for Call of Duty Warzone doesn't mean anything to me. Maybe it's my jaded view on Activision, but this live service formula is not like player friendly as compared to stuff like Final Fantasy XIV and maybe Apex. Best indie, 12 minutes. I've heard good things about that. I've seen gameplay on this. Don't know what this is. Don't know what this is. I want to play Loop Hero. Maybe I vote Loop Hero just because I want to play it out of any of these games that I haven't played. But I've heard good things about 12 minutes. That's something I'd like to try eventually. I don't know what Inscription is. I'm surprised these are the best indie categories. Best mobile game. Oh, I want to play Fantasian. My vote's going to that just because that's something I've been eyeing up. I wish this game was not on the Apple Arcade because I've wanted to play it for so long. It's a lot of Final Fantasy people after 10 went to make Lost Odyssey, and those same people, including Nobuo Uematsu, do the soundtrack for Fantasian. So it seems like a very traditional JRPG in the format of a mobile game. I don't think it'll win. I feel like Genshin Impact is obviously going to take this, but, you know, I placed my vote where my heart is, you know? Best community support. Again, the same reasons I brought these two up on ongoing. My vote goes to 14, but like Apex has a lot of community support. I feel like Apex will probably win it. Because like, as big of a game as Final Fantasy XIV is, there's not a lot of community content on YouTube. It's very lacking, because I played Final Fantasy XIV's free trial for a while, and I noticed that right away, that there's like hardly any user-created content. I don't know, you mean you haven't heard of Inscription or not played it? I haven't even heard of Inscription. Feel free to tell me about it. Innovation in accessibility. This is something I can't really vote for. I have no idea. As much as I don't like Ubisoft, they do good stuff with accessibility. I don't know what they've done with this, but like I feel like I want to vote for this. This vote means nothing because I don't know, but I think that's the case. Best VR. Hitman. Oh, there's a sequel to I Expect You to Die. That's cool. Resident Evil 4 seemed like a very low budget VR port. I would not vote for that. I'm sure it's good for what it is. And I don't know this other stuff. I would have to vote for that. Not much to talk about. Action game. Returnal. Easy. Back 4 Blood I've been playing quite a bit of. I think it needs a little bit of tweaking, but it's still a really fun, really engaging action game that I want to play through to the end and just play it actively. It's something that they're going to be updating, so I'm happy with my purchase of Back 4 Blood. But Returnal is probably my personal game of the year, so if I can give it best action game, I'm going to. I don't know much about Chivalry. I didn't realize it got a sequel because they promoted the hell out of Chivalry with ads when the first game came out, and like betas and like community people talking about the game. But I don't know. I don't have any reason to vote for it here. Talked about Deathloop and don't really want to support Ubisoft stuff in that way, you know. I thought it was big famous made by Pony Island dev. Think hard game like Slay the Spire but more horror? That's cool. I want to play Slay the Spire. I've never gotten a chance to. Best action adventure. This would be between Psychonauts and Metroid. I'm gonna go with Metroid because I played it and I'm biased. Best role-playing. Cyberpunk, Monster Hunter Rise, Scarlet Nexus. SMT5's on here? Has anybody even beaten the game? Why is this on here? I thought games that came out in November and December weren't in the running for Game of the Year. I thought they rolled over. I played Tales of Arise. I'm eventually planning to do a video on it. I thought it was great and it modernized a lot of things, but there were things that I personally, biasly didn't like about it. I want to vote SMT5, but I haven't even finished it. Cyberpunk I don't want to vote for just because of the broken mess it came out in. I feel like the Game Awards for like 10 years in the future, maybe Cyberpunk 2077 will be a fantastic experience to play through. I would love to play through Cyberpunk 2077 one day, but probably after they are done updating everything they want to do to it. Kind of like how if I were to play Witcher 3 now, I would want to play it now rather than like in its earlier states. Not that that was a mess, but more so my personality of playing games after they've been updated. I'm gonna vote for this and like quietly shift to the next category because I'm only like 5 hours into this game and I feel like it shouldn't be on this list, but best fighting. Demon Slayer's an arena fighter. I don't like those. Melty Blood released in such a weird state. It doesn't even support like 1080p. I think it's like 720 was the highest. This is something that needs to be updated for it to get best fighting game. This is something that needs to be updated to get best fighting game as much as I have like a personal love for it. Virtual Fighter 5 I haven't played. It deserves to go to Strive, like without a doubt. I would love to vote for Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl, but it's not better than Strive. Strive's release was even really good, all things considered. So props to Strive. I want to spend more time just to praise Strive, even though it's not something that I personally am sticking with as like a long-term fighting game. It's something that I respect the heck out of. Best family. This. Why is... Okay, I voted for it, but this is a port. This isn't a new release for 2021. Because of that, I want to vote for something else, but I'm not going to, because everybody needs to know that Super Mario 3D World is the most underrated Mario game, and everybody deserves to play it either alone or with friends. This is the port of a Wii U game that shouldn't be on this list, but I'm voting for it. Best Sim and Strategy. Age of Empires, Evil Genius 2, Humankind, Inscription. We'll do Inscription for Sabotage. Because I haven't played, this is not my wheelhouse. I don't play sim strategy games. Surprising that this Slay the Spire-like card game is in Sims. I guess it's strategy. Best Racing Sports. Let's do Forza. What the heck? I actually did watch... Whose video did I watch? This is F1. It was like an hour-long video. This is a good YouTuber, Racevik, I think is how you say it. I watched a lot of this video, and it goes into all of the F1 games, their positives and their negatives, as somebody who's a huge fan of them. As something that I knew nothing about before I clicked watch on this video. I've heard that these newer games have mixed reception. I'm not voting for FIFA 2020 or FIFA 22 because that's a gambling game. That's not really a sports game anymore. Forza, I have outward respect for, just because it's an open world, realistic racing game. I think it deserves it as much as I don't care about the category. Multiplayer. Valheim, is that even out yet? That was in early access last I checked. Early access. Why is an early access game in the running? New World. I've heard good things about the MMO crowds. Monster Hunter Rise. It Takes Two. Knockout City. Back 4 Blood. Mine would probably have to be Back 4 Blood. I don't really care for this. I haven't played this. Haven't played this. Cool that Monster Hunter's here. Favorite content creator? I don't watch any of these people. Do I have to cast a vote? Best debut indie. This has a gorgeous art style. I've heard mixed things, but let's do Sable. Maybe they can use this vote to make something a little more polished later on. Most anticipated game, Elden Ring. Sequel to Breath of the Wild. I think Elden Ring deserves my vote. God of War, I think, is in the same boat as my opinions on Ratchet and Clank. It's just of circumstance. I haven't played the Last Horizon, so I definitely get that. This is in the back of my mind as a good one. Starfield, I'm not interested in. Best esports game. Counter-Strike, League of Legends, Valorant. I have respect for Valorant, though I stopped playing it. League of Legends is self-explanatory. And Counter-Strike, I think, is self-explanatory. I'll just vote League. Esports athletes. Do I know any of them? I know Tens, because I was watching him during when I played Valorant. Best esports team. I've heard Sentinels before. I'm just strictly doing... coaches, I have no idea. Esports event. No idea. Is that it? Oh, I gotta vote for the last ones. Let's vote for the first in every category, you know? Does anybody have any input on the stuff I haven't voted for? It was content creator. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Actually, that's not even on the board. I'm like peeking to see where my mouse is and it's still not working. There. Good job, eBay. And then it was coaches that I ignored. I can't even get my mouse, like, to stay. There we go. I guess I don't have to hit submit. Vote cast. Is that all I have to do? Go vote, it should say 30 out of 30. Yeah, okay. I take it we're good. Yeah, so thank you for sticking around while I did the Game Awards. I was really excited to do this live with a couple people just to talk about it. Because again, I haven't personally played a lot of these games. But I think it's still nice to engage with it. And because I like talking about games in the way that I do, it's cool to still be able to bring up games that I haven't played when these awards are about games that have come out in the year. Maybe it's stuff I'll get into next year, but that'll do it for today. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching the video. If you want to see more like it, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. I also stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/RyanBeardy. Follow me on Twitter at RyanBeardy, and I have a Discord with the links below.